Half Shell Oyster House offers happy hour at the bar and throughout the restaurant every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Happy hour includes $2 off all glasses of wine, liquor, martinis, mixed drinks, and draft beer, $2.50 on all domestic bottled beer, and $3.50 on all craft bottled beer. So come on out to Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Lower Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232, or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. I know it's a little dark on my end today. However, my ring light went out. But the show must go on, and also my scheduled guest had to postpone. So again, the show must go on. So please welcome back my sports mentor and former SID for Jackson State University, Wesley Peterson. Hey Wes, how are you?
Hey Sonia, how are you?
I'm good. Seems like I just saw you 2 days ago?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed hanging with you at the game on Saturday. So since my scheduled guest could not make it today, of course, we're going to talk about the SWAC Championship, Celebration Bowl, the game that led up to between the two teams, and of course, Coach Prime's departure. Wesley, let's talk about the two teams. As you know, they met twice this season, less than 2 months. October 29th, Jackson State played Southern at home, beat them 35-0 in the rain. You know, it was a great game. I was there. December 3rd, we played them in the SWAC Championship, and the Southerns came out. They played a little better this time. However, were defeated by JSU 34-23. Can you please give me a comparison of both teams from both games? What strengths or weaknesses they had in both games? You know, just tell me what you think.
I thought, it was a really well played game by Jackson State, meaning the SWAC championship game. The offense looked pretty good. The defense played really, really well.
Yes.
They harassed the starting Southern quarterback in the SWAC championship game. He just
that first quarter, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just couldn't get anything going. And they really took away, the Jackson State defense really did a good job in taking away the strength of that particular player, the quarterback on the offensive side of the ball. They harassed him. They hit him when he ran. I thought the game plan was really sound. And when Jackson State got the ball in with good yard field position, they made Southern pay. I think they scored 24 points in the first quarter. And from there, it was just a party at Jackson State, right? It was a party in Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. But to Southern's credit, their coaching staff seemed to really kind of turn things around a little bit in the second quarter. The second string quarterback, some people said that he was the third string quarterback, came into the game. I forget the young man's name, but he played really well. He was able to throw the ball pretty well as run the ball. And, a lot of folks, I talked to folks right after the game and Sunday, and they were like, why didn't this guy play?
Yeah, why I said that. Why
year?
didn't they have him to play the first quarter?
Well, that, and why not all year? So
yeah,
that was interesting. But the JSU defense was able to to adjust to that style of play. And not really shut them down, but really to contain them and kind of hold them at bay. The Southern defense at the same time, starting in the second quarter, they were able to adjust a little bit better to the Jackson State offense and slow Jackson State down a little bit in those middle quarters. But with the firepower and the weapons that Jackson State has on the offensive side of the ball, it was just going to be really tough for Southern to keep up with them. So all around, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a really good game. Southern, I don't think they had anything to hang their heads about. They were competitive for the most part, outside of their first quarter. And, they put on a good show. For a little while, the Southern band was feeling themselves a little bit when they kind of made a little run, and Jackson State was able to hold on and get that title.
That's true. So compared to the first game, October 29th, of course, Southern did way better. They were a goose egg that last game. It was, I mentioned to you that I had talked to former NFL players Jamie and Spencer and Cedric Donaldson regarding this past game last week. And I asked, could a team beat another team twice in one season? And they said that it could be done. It would be a major challenge, but it depend on who wanted it more. So of course, apparently Jackson State wanted it more, becoming victorious. But what are your thoughts on that? And also, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought Jackson State was going to win the game regardless, just because they have better talent on both sides of the ball. I thought that, Jackson State was the front runner from the beginning of the season, up until the SWAC championship game. And even when Southern made their runs and really fought to get back into the game, I didn't feel that Jackson State was really in jeopardy of losing the game. I just felt like the other team came to play, and they played. But yeah, it is a hard feat normally, a difficult feat to beat a team twice, multiple times in the same calendar year or the same season. But yeah, I just felt going into the game, it was Jackson State's game to lose, not necessarily that Southern would beat them. But anything can happen in football. Anything can happen in sports. It just takes one player not to be on his A game for the other team to, kind of exploit a weakness. But again, I don't think Southern has anything to hold their head down about or be ashamed of. The players played hard. Some folks kind of thought they backed into the SWAC championship game. But that's when you with that kind of thought hanging over their head, that's when you can face, a really, really tenacious team, a tough team.
Right.
But Jackson State just had too much talent on both sides of the ball.
It's true. So, speaking of, the game on Saturday, Friday, it was a lot of distractions all around for the last couple of weeks. There's been talk about Coach Prime being courted by several schools, and Colorado kept coming up, Colorado. However, on Friday night around, I got the alert from ESPN, maybe 10:30. I know I texted you and you was like, you had seen it. But they, announced that Coach Prime was indeed going to Colorado. As far as the kids, everybody was, upset because they felt like it was going to be a distraction. Do you think it was a major distraction for them? Because they really did not know until after the game. But what are your thoughts on how that transpired and how that played out?
Well, as far as the players, when they believe in you and trust you, they're really not going to listen to a bunch of outside noise.
Until you tell them, yeah.
until you tell them, which is what it was, until he confirmed that that's Coach Prime, that's what the case was.
Mhm.
So it didn't feel and it didn't seem like the players were not motivated, not inspired to play hard and to really um, want to bring a SWAC championship back to Jackson
Mhm.
and have an undefeated season or the potential of an undefeated season. So I didn't think, from what I saw, that there was that among
Mhm.
the players. I think that once the reality sets in and once you get confirmation, from the source, from Coach Prime, not from ESPN or whatever other outside outlet there is, then that's the difference. That's what makes all the difference. Is I've talked to him or I've listened to him, and this is what it is. So yeah.
Yeah. So now that, after the game, as we know, Coach Prime did let the team know that he indeed was going to Colorado after the Celebration Bowl. A lot of, and I'm not going to go into, all of that, what's going on, but we know it's a lot of stuff going on social media right now regarding Coach's decision. And a lot of people are upset because he did it after the game, flew to Colorado, and now is back in Jackson practicing with the team for the Celebration Bowl. Some feel like, you don't need to come, but most coaches who go to another school after, the regular season, they don't come back and coach the bowl. So I think that's pretty cool that he's doing that. However, do you think the kids, before I say that, a lot of people who really don't understand football, they're upset because they're like, why did he have to do it after the game? Why he couldn't wait till the Celebration Bowl? We know the transfer portal opened December 5th. Can you elaborate on that and why he
Um,
did?
well, I mean, I think you pretty much in a lot of ways hit the nail on the head. Transfer portal, it did open on the 5th, and for recruiting purposes, you try to get ahead of that. You try to get your commitments in as soon as you can. And so if he would have waited, I don't know if he still, would have been able to recruit the students that he wanted. Perhaps, I don't know. I personally think that he probably could, in all honesty. But you don't know. You don't have
Yeah,
100%
don't know.
answer
Right.
up from that standpoint. And also, you know, um, Colorado hadn't had a winning. I think they've had what, 2 winning seasons in 11, 12, 13 years or something like that. So I'm pretty sure that their administration and fan base and alumni and boosters and all of those people, that they wanted to go ahead and try to tie this thing up as quickly as possible. Perhaps not to let any kind of emotion or feelings of
Mm,
whatever
okay.
for Jackson State, and perhaps be swayed into staying. So I can see it from the other institutions, Colorado standpoint, that they probably wanted to go ahead and get it tied
Okay.
down and get everything signed on the dotted line, so to speak. So I think the probably the biggest problem that Jackson State, a lot of Jackson State folks, and definitely a lot of people around the HBCU world kind of had, that, especially people who watched the trophy presentation live, whether in person or on TV, it just felt, that whole situation felt, it just felt wrong. There was not an opportunity to really celebrate what he'd done for Jackson State from a fan base, and also what a lot of the good things that he did for HBCUs.
Mhm.
Whether you agree with his methods or you think he did things that were self-serving, there were a lot of good things that you could take from his tenure at Jackson State. So I think a lot of um, the negative comments that you read online from HBCU fans and even other non-HBCU fans was they felt, you know, betrayed is not the right word, but it was a letdown. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. I think most people are happy for him that he, was able to move on to another level. But there was no opportunity to really celebrate him and thank him and give him his flowers for all that he had done for HBCU sports.
I agree.
We know the people in Jackson, and I think a lot of people are saying who didn't go to Jackson State or perhaps didn't go to an HBCU or graduate from an HBCU are saying things online about Jackson State fans that they should have been happy for him and they should be thankful for the things that he did. And I think Jackson State fans really are. I think that they're, for the most part, they're happy for Deion Sanders and his family. But they just didn't get that opportunity to send him out in a similar way that he was brought in to Jackson State. So
Fair enough. I agree with that. And speaking of the things that he did while he was here, 2 practice fields, new locker room, new football facility, new training facility, ushered in a 10-year TV rights deal with HBCU, $30 million direct economic impact to the city of Jackson last year, probably more this year, and brought awareness to issues within the city of Jackson while directly calling out the governor and mayor on a lot of stuff that they have not done to help the citizens of Jackson. I'm thankful for what he's done. And I will say, I believe most JSU fans are thankful for what he's done. He helped us rebuild our program, number one, take us back to our rich legacy, because he didn't do it. We've been doing it for a long time, but it's been a while. Every school like Colorado is having their time right now. I don't think we've ever won in 7 though. I don't think. Okay, that was a shot. But anyway, anyway, I'm thankful for what he's done. He left Jackson State better before he came. A lot of people don't realize the first week, homecoming week, as we talked about before, we were on Good Morning America, 60 Minutes, and Times Square. The following week, game day. The last HBCU school to be on game day was in 2008, and that was FAMU. So, and now, from my understanding, game day is talking about possibly going to a HBCU, more frequently. Not a lot, but, they probably add that more so than just 15 years, 14 years later or whatever. So, yeah, we may be disappointed on how things happened. It's more to the story than a lot of people know. They're just, it's just emotions are all over the place right now.
Yeah,
I get it. He's back practicing with the team, Jackson State, and a lot of people don't even want him here. They don't even want him to coach in the Celebration Bowl. So let me ask you this: do you feel with a few of the students from Jackson State going into the transfer portal? I love what Aubrey Miller did on Saturday evening after coach told everybody he was leaving. He asked the team to don't give up, don't leave them. He came back to finish what they didn't finish last year, and he's a leader. I've always liked Aubrey, but that made me just like him even more after Saturday, because he showed leadership. He showed authority, and he talking to his teammates. Let's do this. Let's go on and finish this thing. So what are your thoughts on will this be a major distraction for everybody for the team now versus last week? Now that everything is happening, what are your thoughts on everything as far as that?
I think it possibly could. So my personal thought is, once you accept a job at another place, and once you make it known, I think you should be with your other team. I think you should be with your other team, and it's not from a place of any kind of hard feelings or anything like that. It's once you make that announcement, it's time to make the transition to whoever the next head coach is going to be, and whatever that looks like. So I think as a part of his post-game press conference, he recommended that TC Taylor be named the head coach. I would say let TC Taylor coach the team in the Celebration Bowl. Give him that shot. Also, I do think it probably would be difficult. I think it would be difficult to play for him when you know he's gonna be gone. And if last Saturday is any kind of indication, he might be gone right after the game. You know, we might celebrate together for 5 minutes if we win, and then he's gone. So I think that go ahead and just do what you need to do with your new team. And it's not a hard feelings thing. It's just, let's see what the new guy can do, what the new head coach can do, if he can rally the team and get them going. But I do hope that the players who have not entered the transfer portal or who have not made some kind of public statement about entering the transfer portal, I do hope they play, because anybody who played football or sport, especially at a very high level, know getting a win is hard. Getting a conference championship is much harder, and then having the chance to play for and win a national championship is extremely hard. So this opportunity may not come around again for a lot of the guys that are on the team, whether they decide to stay at Jackson State or go somewhere else. So I would hope that they would finish the job that they started and try to win this Celebration Bowl and be crowned as HBCU or Black college champions.
I agree. I truly hope they do play, and just relish in the memories. This is your college days, and you'll never get this moment back. Just play hard like you planned on from the beginning. I mean, first of all, Jackson State has never had a 12-0 season during this entire program, and 13-0 will even sound even better. 19-13 Delta. I'm sorry. 13 sound even better. So I'm truly hoping that we can put our feelings aside, our emotions aside, and get the job done. There's also talk, I don't think you were, they just started talking. I may have mentioned it to you. There's talk about them doing a parade for the boys, for the team, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And it's well-deserved. Well deserved. They need to be celebrated and know that we're behind them 100%. I truly hope that the adult and get to this game on next Saturday. Get out your feelings. It's not about him. It's about these kids. And they've worked very hard this season to be dominant. We're unbeaten. So let's go on and finish this with a bang. I mean, let's just do this. And let me ask you this, even though they're entering the transfer portal, will they be able to play?
That I don't know.
Shador is supposed to play. Shador is supposed to still be playing.
But I don't think he's in the portal. I don't think he's
he was introduced as the next quarterback, but maybe I guess he didn't need him to enter the portal right away because he know he's coming.
I don't think, and I haven't checked today, but I don't think he's injured.
No, he did not. I checked today. I didn't see his name. So maybe he'll just enter after the game. I mean, after Celebration Bowl, I'm assuming.
And I'll say this: if Dion coaches, I wouldn't be mad about it. You know,
No.
and if I were one of the fans that were in the stands that's with Jackson State, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad about it. I definitely wouldn't boo them. I would support the team. I would support the coaches that are there coaching and working and trying to bring a championship and a point of pride to the university as well as to the city of Jackson. So either way it went, I wouldn't be particularly upset, but I would love to see whoever the next coach is, if he's on the staff, come in and coach that game. And I would love to see Shador play quarterback and any of the other players that wanted to be on the field and trying to get that chance for a championship. Because again, national championships, only one team can win it in any division or level of play. So that's kind of rarefied air, no matter where you play.
So Celebration Bowl next week against North Carolina Central. I'm sure they are going to try to monopolize on this distraction because it's a lot going on. So what are your thoughts on this team? Can we beat them? Can Jackson State beat North Carolina Central?
I think Jackson State can beat when they're playing the way that we've seen them play this year, and definitely the way they're accustomed to playing over the last 2 years, minus the previous Celebration Bowl. They can beat anybody. They have the talent, they have the coaches, they have everything that you need. But the big question is, will this be too much of a distraction for them? NCCU is in a similar way. They're kind of coming in under the radar, just like South Carolina State did last year. They're coming in under the radar. Not a lot of people are talking about them. They're coming in with a really good 9-2 record. And the MEAC has dominated this particular game of the last few years. So they could come in and take the game and steal the game from Jackson State. That's not out of the realm of possibility, even without any of these kind of distractions, because it's one game. It's not a series. It's not a playoff tournament or something like that. It's one game. Anything can happen, and sometimes the ball bounces funny. They have a legit shot to come away with that Celebration Bowl victory.
Okay, well, who is your pick, and what's your points?
I think Jackson State is going to win the game. I'm thinking 21-13.
I'm, of course, picking Jackson State. I will say 21-17. Okay. Well,
We'll see. We'll see how many points each team get, but I think it'll be a good game. I know it's going to be a really good atmosphere. I know it'll be a sellout. All of the previous games have performed well attendance-wise, and historically, this game, since its inception, since it's been in existence, this game has been in the top 4 or 5 of games watched on television during the bowl season. So outside of the FBS national championship game, and that playoff, the Celebration Bowl is right there in the mix as far as attendance and as far as viewership on television. So I don't think that will change this year.
And one more moment in history, and I know a lot of people are mad about it still, but Coach Sanders is the first SWAC coach, and I think HBCU coach, to go to be hired by a Power 5 school. And that's pretty major because the whole point was to also get attention on the school, but he and well, one more thing, and I'm getting off of that. A lot of people were saying he used Jackson State. We used him too. We got 2 championship rings and things that he did for it was a give and give. So it wasn't like he just came here and was like, met a girl and was like deuces. No. he gave us stuff too. So
But I mean, I can see why people will feel that way, and I can
I
see.
do too. I'm not saying, yeah, I see it, but
Yeah.
truth
just-
is truth.
It's just your perception. I think it's just a perception on things, and I
Absolutely.
think whichever way you feel, I think they're all grounded, especially if you're an HBCU alumnus or fan, or you're, we swag.
Yeah,
Who is swag? We swag.
we sweat. I
Um,
mean,
but I think that all of these feelings come up because deep down at the foundation of this is this community, for the most part, embraced him, has love for him, and it's like I saw a meme. I'm not gonna say it exactly the way I saw it, but I saw a meme shortly after the announcement was made, and it said something like, the fans feel like the kid whose dad left their mama for another woman. That ain't what the meme said, but it was something like that. So I get it. I get it.
I get it. I
But
mean,
all of this stuff comes from a place of love for the most part.
yeah, I cried. I cried. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna put my emotions and stuff about this on social media, but yeah, I was hurt, very hurt. You know that we talked about it. I mean, I was low cotton Sunday. I couldn't get myself together. I was sad. Man, I think more sad, even though I know it's more to the story. I think I was more sad about the fact that for the kids, how it all occurred, and we got one more game. It's not like we're done.
Right.
And so it's just, I get it. I mean, just God, whatever. I'm moving on. Wesley, thank you so much, because I gotta watch my mouth. Thank you so
But
much.
before you sign off, I think the biggest takeaway, and hopefully we all learned this lesson, and a lot of really smart commentators have really made this point, that he did what he was supposed to do as a coach.
That's right.
He did all the things he was supposed to do as a coach. But
And he did what he said he was going to. Everything he said he was going to do, he did it.
But the implied promise, the things that were implied, perhaps not, but the only real travesty of this whole situation that possibly could be is if none of us learned anything from his tenure at Jackson State and being in this way. If we go back to doing business as usual, and
that would be a problem.
Outdated models and doing outdated things, then that's the biggest tragedy. But if we continue to forge ahead and build on some of the lessons that he kind of left behind, particularly from a marketing standpoint,
yes,
then if we don't learn from that, then that's the tragedy. And it wouldn't matter how long he stayed if we didn't learn from those lessons.
You gave me an analogy Sunday when I was loading cotton about Moses, and D.L. Hughley, he gave almost the same analogy you gave. I was going to give it, but tell the listeners about your analogy you gave, and it rings so true.
I dropped so many nuggets on you Sunday.
Oh my gosh, the one about Moses.
So yeah, a lot of people are saying, that God didn't talk to him and didn't bring him to Jackson State and all that stuff. And whether that's true or not, or however you feel about that or not, the truth of the matter is that a lot of the time, the leader who gets you to a certain point doesn't take you across the finish line or doesn't take you to, the desired outcome. That's the person who sets things in motion to get you going. And, when we were talking, it was kind of like, for me, it was like Moses. Moses was the person who was chosen to lead the Hebrew people out of bondage and to the promised land. Not necessarily
Did you say Hebrew?
Hebrew.
Israelites.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Um,
I'm just trying. We gotta
Yeah.
do the Bible right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And his job was to get him there, not necessarily to cross over into that place with
promised land.
them.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the way I saw it. So another leader has to step up, or leaders have to step up and really lead the HBCU, not just the football programs, not just the athletic programs, but those entire universities and
Mhm.
institutions of higher education, lead them into the promised land.
I agree. Great analogy. And just like God allowed Moses to look into the promised land, he allowed Coach Prime to look into the promised land, and he's moved on.
Mhm.
And somebody else will take us there. So I'm thankful again for what he's done. Great analogy. Thanks for joining me. But before we go, I play a game. You can give it this, you can give it that.
Mhm.
And what that is, it's a way for the listeners and myself to get to know the guest better. I'll ask you a few questions, and you choose the one that best fits you.
Okay.
Now, this first one, you know who it was for. So, but I'm gonna keep it fried or grilled fish.
Grill.
Grilled, okay. Rich, you would rather be rich or famous?
Rich.
Rich.
I want to be famous. I don't want people coming asking me for money and I might not have it.
Oh, you got it. You just don't want to get it. Would you prefer having more time or more money?
More time.
Absolutely. Would you rather travel back in time or travel to the future?
Probably back in time to see the people who made me who I am, the people who I never met that are part of my family.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to do that, but I don't want to stay there because,
Oh, you didn't say stay. It was just like
yeah, no, I just want to make sure because that's slavery and stuff. Most of
Okay.
that. Yeah,
it's like
I
a
would
round
like.
trip.
Yeah, I would like to go and come on back.
Yeah, we coming back. And they tell us go back.
Yeah, to my
Go back to
get
your
out of
place.
here.
Get out of
Right.
here. Yeah.
This is so funny to me. Have your least favorite song played on a constant loop or never listen to music ever again?
Never listen to music ever.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your least favorite song?
Oh my God. Do you remember Carl Thomas, the singer?
I wish.
Yes. That's my least favorite song.
I'm not gonna, I was about to sing it.
Don't sing it. Don't sing it. And now you're gonna sing it, right? That's my least favorite song. Yeah.
Okay, I never knew that.
He's a good artist, and I like his other songs, but that song in particular is my least favorite.
One of my least favorite songs. Oh my gosh. It's several. But when I say I hate which one I want to give? I'm gonna give several. No Pain, No Gain. This Is How We Do It. I don't like blues, first of all. This Is How We Do It.
What do you got against This Is How We Do It?
Just This Is How We Do. I hate that. Just Got Paid.
Hold on. You don't like Just Got Paid?
I mean, it got a bop, but yeah, I don't never like. And it's another song that just Oh my gosh, they played it 1,000. I hate it. I don't know, but I'm a music person. I'm gonna have it keep it on loop because I can't live without music.
No, but
And
I was assuming that you meant like on the radio, not like
no,
live.
I hated it when it came out. I was like, oh my God, I hated it.
Wow.
I hate it.
Okay, I didn't know. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. It's another song that's, oh, I wish I could remember it. I can't right now, but it sucks. I hate it. Would you prefer reading a book or watching a movie?
Probably watching a movie.
What would you watch?
Ooh. Right now, probably Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Right now.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. I agree. Cake or pie?
Pie. Pecan pie.
Because
Yeah.
dog or cat?
Dog.
Choose wisely. Very good.
Yeah. Dog.
Nova. Your favorite actor, Will Smith or Denzel Washington?
Denzel.
What's your favorite movie by
From,
him?
from Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of them are, for the most part, good, or at least good. But one of my favorites is like, kind of like a scary movie, and I got a funny quick story behind that. So, have you ever seen the movie Fall with Denzel?
Not really, because I don't like scary movies.
Okay, so I watched that movie, when it first came out. And when I say, if anybody who's seen that movie knows the premise, I didn't shake anybody's hand. I didn't brush up against anybody. I didn't touch anybody. But like,
Oh, if you touch somebody, something to happen, a spirit to get on you or something?
yeah, that's how it. So the movie was about this demon who would possess people and do all these things, these terrible things. And the way he gets into you is by touch. So it could be somebody walking in the crowd and they just brush up against you. Then he would transfer from that person into the next person. And for whatever reason, during the movie, that demon could not get into Denzel Washington's character. And so, yeah, I was just like, it was a great movie. Loved
You
the movie.
wouldn't shake anybody's hand?
I didn't touch anybody. Some of my friends were like, hey, you greet each other and dap each other up. I was like, not today. Not today.
But you know what? It's probably I believe it is some truth to that, because sometimes I don't really like to hug people when like if I can feel something, I'm good. What's up? So I understand. I do understand.
But that's a very good movie, especially if you like, like scary type movies.
Yeah. Last but not least, I gotta change it since this was for the other guests. There's been several prospects Clarion Ledger put out for coaches to replace Coach Prime. Between these two, because we talked about this, who would you rather, T.C. Taylor or Mike Minter from Campbell?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think that it depends on what you want, as a coach, in a coach. I think that TC who played at Jackson State was one of the great players to come out of Jackson State. He's done seemingly all the right things, right?
He knows the formula.
He knows the formula.
Coach Prime left, yeah.
He's been an assistant. He's been a coach at multiple places. Has various experience. The only thing that we don't really know at this level is how good of a recruiter is. As a head coach, a person that can really seal the deal. But we don't know, how much leeway and how much responsibility he was given under Coach Prime to do a lot of those things. And with Mentor, we know that he can recruit. He can lead a recruiting process. in I think 2 years in a row on the FCS level. He's had the #1 recruiting class. So that's interesting. I
Yeah.
think. So that's a tough, yeah, that's a real tough question. I probably have to give a slight edge to Mentor,
Okay.
with the caveat that he kept TC Taylor on as like an associate head coach, something like that. I think that would be a great staff. And then you go and get some other young talented coaches out there that perhaps have an HBCU connection, and you just build a really powerful staff.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Wes, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Sonia.
You are welcome. And guys, you can follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, at She Say 23 on Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports. Hopefully my light will be working next week.